Good thing I picked up some new light bulbs. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Welcome to Tiny Housinʼ, Volume 21. Pretty sure it's Volume 21. Maybe it's Volume 22, I don't know. It was bicycle maintenance day, and then I had to go grocery shopping. So I've been nonstop. I don't even know what time it is right now. It's probably close to 7 o'clock. I've been going nonstop since 1 o'clock. Put about 4.5, 5 hours in on the bicycle. Didn't even accomplish everything I set out to do, but all the important stuff got done. Replaced derailleur pulleys, gear shift cables, front and rear, swapped tires, installed a new wheel a brand new wheel that I haven't put on that bike yet, and turned my wheel that was on the bike into a backup and a spare wheel. But I did go grocery shopping, and one thing that I did get the other day, a new refrigerator, and it's definitely significantly bigger than the fridge. The fridge that I used to have was about as tall as that bottom door and narrower than that. And it just didn't even have enough room for this black bottle right here, that water bottle that I use, it wouldn't even have enough room to put a bottle upright that size. I mean, I could barely fit anything in that fridge, but this fridge, it's a 3.5 cubic feet fridge, and it's got a decent sized freezer. You can see I've got lots of ice cube trays and some other stuff in there. But the big deal is the fridge is much bigger. I can put a whole bunch of drinks in here. I've got that slot. I have my arugula in there. It's not getting frozen. I can put cheese in there. I've got some meats. I've got a crisper. Keep my lemons and onions and stuff like that. I can also put drinks and stuff inside the door. And just the fact that I have that big shelf at the top to put all the drinks. Right now I just have some cold water. But I just got back from grocery shopping, as you can see. Got my grocery bag. And once again, I'm just gonna pull... I know it's like, how exciting is it watching this guy pull groceries out of a bag? But what I'm trying to convey is when you live in a tiny little house that's literally like a jail cell, you got your toilet and your sink right next to each other, just like in prison. You got a shower in your cell, which is actually a feature of a Supermax prison, where you'll have a shower that, like, the Supermax prison cells are on this rotating thing, and they literally bring the shower to your cell a few times a week so that you don't have to leave your cell to take a shower. Or in some of the super high security prisons, they'll just put a shower right in your cell. That way they can just leave you in your cage and they really don't have to ever let you out for anything. It's like some Hannibal Lecter shit there. But yeah, I've got groceries, and so I'm just going to go through because it's kind of a lesson in, I got some dirty clothes. I didn't do anything today. I didn't go to church. I really had to get some work done on the bicycles because that's my transportation. And I only got one bicycle. I'd say 75% of the things that were on my list on the bicycle department got done today. And I spent 5 hours. Let's just say I spent 5 hours. And that was setting up a shop with a work stand. I took that little table that you see there, and that table actually gets a lot taller. The legs extend even more. I set that up as a workspace table next to my bicycle work stand. Had the bike pump, had various tools, degreaser, rags, and all that kind of stuff out there. And then this table is just covered with some stuff that this is all stuff I've got to repack in my bag for tomorrow morning. And because of that tire fiasco, the blown out tire, I have to repack everything and go through the whole checklist. I took the folding tire off my bike so I can put that back in the backpack. It's not an emergency use tire. That's like a legit tire. It's not meant for emergency use. It's just, I just put a brand new tire on the rear wheel of the Red Rocket, and I took the tire that was on the back of the bike and put it up front. And then I put a brand new wheel on, cleaned the drivetrain, derailleur pulleys, brand new derailleur pulleys. Those derailleur pulleys were like 30 years old and just falling apart. New cables. I don't think I've replaced the cables, brake cables and the gear shift cables since 2004. Okay, so it's been like 21 years on the same cables. And I noticed right away that on the work stand when I was going through the gear shifting and just making sure everything works, the gear shifting seemed super smooth. This might be the best shifting. When I go for my ride tomorrow, I might have better shifting, more precise shifting than I've ever experienced on that bike, to be honest. But when you put new cables on, they stretch out. So for the next month, I'm going to have to constantly adjust and tighten the cables. They're going to go out of adjustment over and over. And with a brand new back wheel, you have to constantly check the spoke tension, because on a brand new wheel, they're supposed to be tensioned at the factory when they're factory built wheels. But a lot of times you'll ride for every 20 miles, every time I get to work, and every time I get home, I'm going to have to wiggle the spokes and make sure that they're tight, because road vibration and all that stuff, when a wheel is being broken in and it's being ridden with a rider's weight, especially this much weight that you see right here, that's a little bit of stress. And spokes, the wheel is basically settling in, just like a house will settle in after you build it. It'll start to sink into the foundation a little bit, and you'll see cracks and things like that. Doors will be misaligned after, a year or two. Things are just going to settle in. And so you got to definitely make sure that you take care of that, because you don't want to be riding along and all of a sudden realize that your back wheel is so loose that it's going to just fall off. So I got to admit, that's the only thing I got to worry about. And it's not like I have to worry about it. I just have to pay attention to it and be willing to stop what I'm doing and do a little maintenance, a little more regular maintenance. Had to order brake pads, ordered a new set of tires, just so that when it's time to change the tires again, I have a set ready. Just in case something happens, it's always good to have extra tires. I didn't even touch the secondary bike, the Silver Bullet. I'm going to have to wait probably next weekend, maybe. Maybe I'll go to church next weekend. I needed to sleep, and I just didn't get up on time to go to church. So I am going to go through this backpack, and as an example of what it's like to live in a tiny house, rely on bicycles for transportation. This is kind of like how I was living when I went to art school. I never had a vehicle, but I lived in the city of Pittsburgh, and there was buses and public transit and trains and different forms of getting around aside from the bicycle. But these are the kinds of ridiculous things I would have to do before, in the periods of, there's been a few periods of my life where I didn't have a car and I had to figure it out. And so I had to get some bread. So I carry bread in a grocery bag. I'm not throwing a loaf of bread in the back of a backpack. So that's one thing. I needed to get some light bulbs. That light bulb out in front of the tiny house, it's dying. It's not giving out any light anymore. So I had to get some light bulbs. I got a couple of bags of Cheetos. The reason for that is because ramen noodles were ridiculously cheap, and I never thought I would eat them again, to be honest. But right now, that's my cooking setup. Basically a 2-burner hot plate system with a pot, and I'm getting an air fryer. The landlord is putting in giving me an air fryer at some point. And I may get a microwave, but I really don't use microwaves all that much. But anyway, since I'm living in a prison cell where my toilet is right next to my sink and shower, I thought I'd make some prison chi-chis after I saw that they had these big packs of ramen noodles for $1 a pack. Like 6 packs so I got 12 packages of ramen noodles for $2. And I thought, why don't I just make some prison chi-chis? Because they're simple, they're quick. When you cook in prison, everything is based on hot water. It's really the hot water is usually the only thing that you have access to cook something with. So ramen noodles and pasta and things like that are high up on the prison food list in terms of what you eat when you're in prison. Made a little blast from the past, and I'll make a couple of prison chi-chis. So I'll pull out the other ingredients that I got for the prison chi-chis, and I'll talk about that a little bit. Maybe I'll make a video how to make a prison chi-chi. But for now, I'm just gonna unpack this bag. I'll show you what I fit in the grocery bag, or what I fit in the grocery backpack, I should say. And because I've been going nonstop today, nonstop since I started working on the bicycles at 12:30 in the afternoon. I have not eaten one bite of food. It's now after 7 p.m. and I'm just settling down to get my groceries put away. So unfortunately, there's a big problem with this Burger King, and that it's directly in my path when I walk home from anywhere. And it's like 2 blocks away from the house. So when I'm hungry as hell, I'm coming back from the grocery store, I'm coming back from this whole day, I literally did not eat one bite of food all day. Not even the smallest bite of food. Not even a snack. And now I'm ravaged, I'm hungry. And I still got to put away all these groceries. So Burger King it is, because I am not even going to want to open a bag of peanuts and sit and eat that after I'm done putting these groceries away. But I'm going to put my phone on the tripod, my little mini tripod, and I'll show you what you can actually fit in this backpack, because I'm amazed. Every time I do this, I'm flabbergasted by how much I can actually fit. All right, so here I am, back from the grocery store. Backpacking Express here. But, I mean, this thing probably weighs... Let's take a look. This bag weighs... What does this bag weigh? I think I can weigh it. Get a rough idea. $49.2 pounds. So there's 49.2 pounds. I mean, you can probably take a few pounds off for the weight of the backpack itself, but I had a full cart of groceries, and as I'm going through the checkout line, you already saw the first few things that I carried in. Those I carried in a plastic grocery bag. The bread, the light bulbs, the Cheetos. But this is what I'm like. This is ridiculously cool. And this is not my biggest backpack. This is far from the biggest. This is like the smallest of my big backpacks. I got some pre-cooked sausage. That is going to be used for the prison chi-chis. Jimmy Dean, fully cooked. I was looking for summer sausage. Logs of summer sausage. I couldn't find them anywhere. I was in Target. Target has a grocery store. I just didn't see them. But these packs of ramen noodles were 99 cents. I'm like, don't take anything that I'm about to show you as this is the way you should be eating a healthy eating lifestyle. This is like, you should not be eating any of the stuff that I'm about to show you. All right, this is just something I did because I'm just trying to stock up on like storable foods and sometimes, you know, a little bit of comfort food. I don't like this shit, and when I came home from prison, I swore I would never eat this stuff again, but I just happened to walk by. I was going through the pasta aisle, and I saw out the corner of my eye these 6 packs of ramen noodles were 99 cents, and I'm like, you know, haven't had a prison chi-chi since I got out of prison. Why not? Why not? Why would you want to? I don't know, but maybe, you know, just bring back some good memories hanging with my peeps in Danbury prison. Got like a generic thing of mac and cheese. It's the mac and cheese that has the cheese pouches. Got 2 packs of these. These were like $1.20 a box. Sometimes the generic shit tastes like garbage. I don't know. These bags of peanut snacks, when they're on sale. This one's peanut butter and chocolate. These things are usually like $6, but if you go on the right day, they'll be like $3. So, or like maybe $3.50. And then I got the s'mores mix. It's basically trail mix. It's peanuts mixed with chocolate chips and marshmallows and some graham cracker things and whatnot. I always have like different trail mixes. Some are healthier than others. I do have bags of peanuts, just plain peanuts, cashews and different nuts, pistachios and things like that. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of snacky trail mix peanut mixes. Those are always good to have. If I'm looking for something to eat at night, it's definitely better than it's better than some other options. It's better than digging into a half gallon of ice cream, right? You know, it's all relative. Got some pouches of garlic and cumin black beans. That's going to be straight up for the prison chi-chis. These are shelf storable. They don't have to be refrigerated. Probably want to refrigerate them after you open the bag. I don't know how they're going to taste, but this is literally prison chi-chi. So everything in a prison chi-chi is over-processed garbage that doesn't need to be refrigerated. Let's see, I got room temperature storable coffee creamer. I went through a box of that. I've still got about half a box left. It's good to have that for when you run out of coffee creamer. That's like the backup plan. I like to get the pre-made salad kits at the grocery store so that I can have salad, but it has all the stuff and the dressing and everything else in the bag. They were wiped out. I don't know what happened, but they literally did not have one bag of any kind of salad, of any kind. So I got a bag of carrots. And there's probably something to go along with the carrots. But now that I've got this new fridge, I can have a little bit of fresh produce and things like that. And I don't got to worry about, I don't want to worry about my carrots getting frozen or getting all kinds of messed up and temperature variances and all that kind of stuff. I'll just put that away when I'm done here. I got a big bowl. 2 things I needed a big enough bowl for, and I don't even think this is a big enough bowl, but it was the only plastic bowl that I could find, and it was the biggest one. I need a bowl that if I get those salad kits, the pre-made salads, I need a bowl big enough for the salad. I honestly don't think this bowl is big enough for one of those. I really don't. I'm going to have to search. I might have to get some stainless steel bowls, or I got to get some dual purpose stuff. Maybe I'll end up getting something on Amazon. I don't know. I just don't think this bowl is big enough. The only way I'm going to know is to try. But I know that those salads, the pre-made salads, you need a big ass bowl if you're going to eat the whole bag. And they're meant to be eaten in one sitting. I mean, I don't understand how you would not eat one of those salads in one sitting. But it's, a bunch of big fluffy leaves. You need a bowl for them. But I'm also going to start making my own coffee creamers, and I need a bowl and I need a wire whisk to whip all the ingredients together. And so I'm going to use this bowl will be fine for that purpose, even if it's not big enough for the salads. So I've got the bowl. Let's set that over here, I guess. I'm still digging into the backpack. I really didn't think I was going to be able to fit everything in here today. I was like, man, you've done it this time. You're going to be screwed on, but I fit it all. Got some blue cheese. I bought a bottle of this same blue cheese a few weeks ago, and this refrigerator, the old refrigerator, was just so bad. Half of the refrigerator, if you put something like this in, it would freeze. And if you moved it 6 inches to the right, it would be too warm. So, like, it went bad. It looked so nasty that I was like, no, there's no way in hell I'm even going to chance eating that. This, I got some Chipotle ranch. Now, for a proper prison chi-chi, you're supposed to use ranch dressing, but I saw this Chipotle ranch right next to the regular ranch dressing, and I'm like, I'm not in prison anymore, so maybe I can upgrade my prison chi-chi to something a little bit better. I did get some queso, some generic canned queso dip, specifically for the prison chi-chis. So that's another ingredient that goes with the prison chi-chi. Let's see. I got this concentrated cold brew, but I only got one bottle. I'm gonna get away from this stuff. I need to get the stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I need to get, and I just don't want to spend the money right now. But maybe next weekend I will work on it. I'm gonna get my cold brew system going so I can make a gallon at a time. I have 2 glass milk bottles with caps, and I'll get 2 mason jars with the filters, so I could have 2 gallons of cold brew in my fridge at all times. And when the glass milk bottles are empty, I can transfer the mason jars over to the glass bottles, and then I can just rebrew another gallon. So every time I go through a gallon, I can brew a new gallon and just get into that flow. And I can keep ground coffee on hand. But this concentrated cold brew, this is the Target brand, Good Gather, or whatever, Good and Gather they call it. Trying to make themselves sound like a bunch of tree huggers that everything's healthy or whatever. They taste bad. This is the best tasting one I've had out of the concentrated cold brews. I don't understand why they taste so bad, because the only ingredients are cold brew coffee, water, and natural flavor. It's got to be whatever the natural flavor is. All of these, I've tried 4 different brands. They're terrible. They're terrible. So I'm not even going to mess with these anymore. I got one more just because there's a transition period that I'm going to go through. But this cold brew coffee that you buy bottled in the refrigerator section, this is the Target brand. This is probably the best tasting one that they sell. The Target brand tastes better than some of the other better known brands. The H-E-B grocery stores have a really, really, really good tasting cold brew bottled coffee, but it's literally just the ingredients are cold brew coffee, water, and natural flavors. That's the kicker, because they don't have to tell you what they are. Natural flavors. Well, what the fuck is it? Like, it's probably ground up beetles and who knows what else. So I got 2 of those. Let's see, I got more. I know I got more of those. 3 of those. Yeah, I got 3 of those. But with this fridge, I can fit some drinks in there. I'm going to pull out some of the water that's being stored there right now, replace it with these bottles of coffee. But I got a lot more room in that fridge now. I can really get my drink game taken care of. These coffee creamers, the store-bought coffee creamers, I'm limping my way to the finish line here. I got to start making my own, and I have bottles to store it in when I do. But these are always on sale. 2 for whatever price, 2 for $7, I think. But I can only buy 1. Every time I go there, I could only buy 1. Well, this time I bought 2. And at Target, when they do the 2 for whatever, you have to buy 2 to get the deal. Most grocery stores, if it's 2 for $5, but you only want to buy 1, they're going to charge you $2.50. But at Target, whenever they do, like if it's 2 for $5 and you only want to get 1, you're going to pay like $4 for the 1. And so I fit those in there. And then I got orange juice. Finally, I got some. So there's a little bit of healthy stuff going in that fridge. I got some fresh orange juice. Their orange juice selection at Target's kind of crummy. I only got 1 little bottle. And then I'm also trying to stock up on drinks that I can keep warm that don't have to be refrigerated until after they're opened. So they had these bottles of Snapple. I think it was like 2 of these great big bottles for like $3. or something like that. And I got 2 of those. And let's see here. I'm pretty sure that is the bottom of the backpack. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bottles of drinks, and all the rest of that food, the cheese, the bowl, the mac and cheese, all that stuff fit in one backpack, except for the handful of things that I didn't want to get crushed, and I was willing to carry I'm not opposed to carrying a plastic grocery bag with light bulbs and bread. So everything else fit in that bag, no problem. I am getting to the limit, but I can fit an entire cart. I had a full cart of groceries, and they fit in that bag. So, I'm just going to I'm trying to only go grocery shopping once a week. It's been a week. It was last Sunday. The last time I went was last Sunday. I did have to pick up a couple of things when I got my hair cut on, I think it was Wednesday. I got my hair cut Tuesday or Wednesday. I picked up a couple of things that I couldn't find at Walmart, but I didn't go like grocery shopping. I didn't even take my backpack with me. I just went and got my hair cut, walked into Target, grabbed like 3 things and left. So I won't have to go grocery shopping for another week. And at some point, I am trying to kind of stock up and plan things out and just get the prison chi-chi is just a stupid idea. It's a stupid thing. It's ridiculously unhealthy. It's not, none of this shit, like I said, except for the carrots, are anything that you should be thinking of in terms of like healthy eating. But I'm trying to bring a little bit of variety, and I'm like pressed for time a lot lately. And I'm trying to also stock up on some just dry food that, apocalypse ready food that you can just have on the shelf and grab and eat. And pretty much nothing that you can store like that is going to be very healthy for you. Peanuts, things like that. Peanut butter's not too bad. Different things like that. I've got different jellies and peanut butter waiting for me. I've got lots of different options here, but I'm trying to like develop a tiny house menu, if you will. And so I'm going to put down like different meals that I cook based on only having like a hot plate and a pot. And that's right now, that's all I have to cook with. Literally, like boiling water it's just like being in prison. The only thing that I have to cook with right now is boiling water. So whatever I can cook with boiling water is what I'm going to eat if I want a hot meal. That's not going to be the case all the time. I do have a cast iron pan and a bacon press, and I can start doing burgers. Now that I've got this freezer, a little bit more space, I can get some ground beef, make some burger patties, store them in the freezer until I'm ready to cook. I can do... So I think I'm going to start doing some burgers. I'm going to do, just going to look for different things that I can keep in the freezer. So I've got a cast iron pan, I can fry, and I can cook those kinds of things, and I can do pasta. And I did walking through the pasta. I have some really bomb-ass, I do some really good spaghetti sauce, and I'm really good, like if I can get just tomato paste or tomato base, different seasonings, basil, oregano, whatever else I'm not able to think of off the top of my head. I can make a really good base spaghetti sauce and then mix like roasted red peppers. I don't even know how I would roast them right now, but there's probably a way I can do it. But anyway, red peppers, onions, different veggies, mushrooms, ground beef, like a pound of ground beef. I'll make a really good spaghetti sauce in a cast iron skillet. And then I can cook, instead of cooking like spaghetti noodles, I'll probably do like spirals or bow ties or like rotini, bow ties, things like that. Pasta that's more conducive to cooking in a pot versus, a big pot that you would need for like spaghetti noodles. But I can start making like spaghetti. And when I make my spaghetti sauce, I always have tons of leftovers. So I can just boil up some noodles and have really good spaghetti sauce. maybe 3 times a week if I want. With all I got to do is boil some noodles, heat up some sauce, boom, spaghetti dinner. So I'm just trying to think. I'm easing my way into being a tiny house chef. And I'm a good cook. I know what I'm doing. I go camping all the time. I'm a gourmet. My friends and I, we will be 10, 12 miles out into the most remote wilderness West Virginia has to offer. And while all my friends are sitting around eating ramen noodles and, granola, I'm pulling out a New York strip steak with some asparagus and some, roasted yams. And I've got like a whole freaking dinner planned out. And I found a way to keep it from going bad. I have different methods for keeping meat and stuff like that, at least for 24 to 48 hours from going rancid or going, spoiling. Beef has a little bit more, you're not going to do that with raw chicken, okay? But beef, yeah, I could take a New York strip steak and keep that bitch cold for up to about 48 hours. You start out with it frozen. You wrap it in some special bubble wrap that has reflective properties. You put that in a thing full of ice. Freeze the whole thing into like a block of ice. Carry that in like a special sealed bag that goes inside of my backpack. That's so when the water starts to unfreeze and whatnot. But basically, you freeze a steak in a block of ice, and you wrap it in this reflective bubble wrap so that like it really takes a long time for that block of ice to melt. Number one, and when it does, it's still going to be cold water, and it's going to be in a waterproof bag that's inside of or strapped to the outside of my hiking backpack. Okay. Then, if you need to get a little bit of extra time, you've got those ice packs. The ice packs that you squeeze and you break and you shake them for when like you sprain your ankle or something like that. They're in first aid kits and whatnot. Have like 3 or 4 of those at the ready and just break them, shake them, throw them in that cooler. That shit will keep your food. You can keep your food cold 48 hours, no problem. Anything after 48 hours, plus that's a lot of weight to be carrying around when you want to, have a gourmet dinner 12 miles back into the wilderness on a wilderness hike. But believe me, man, when you're sitting by that campfire eating a New York strip steak and a roasted yam with butter and all that good stuff and some asparagus that you wrapped in tin foil and pre-seasoned and had butter already, like everything was it's just an asparagus bomb. You just throw it near the fire. Let the freaking heat of the fire cook all of that inside of the foil wrap. Same thing with the potato. Just wrap it in foil. Throw it in your backpack. It's going to be fine. As soon as you get to as soon as you get the campfire going, you've already got a potato. It's already wrapped in foil. Set it somewhere where it's going to get cooked. You don't want to, you don't want to set it directly over the fire, but find a hot rock or, you situate it somewhere where it's going to bake and it's going to get good heat. Rotate it, keep turning it, do what you got to do. And then the steak, like I said, you can keep steaks cold that way. There's different ways, but for about 2 days, you can carry a couple of steaks with you. After that, I've got a whole bunch of different recipes for backpacking where you can eat like a total pimp back in the woods. You don't have to rely on ramen noodles and granola bars when you go backpacking. But at some point, the food does become the heaviest thing that you're carrying. And the more elaborate that you try to get with the food, the more weight that becomes and the more of a burden it becomes. And so there's kind of like an offset. Do you want to hike a mile an hour slower or more because you're carrying all this crap to eat like a gourmet prince when you're back in the woods? Or do you just want to go with, mac and cheese, ramen noodles, and granola bars to get you through the weekend because it's light and it takes up, it makes your backpack lighter. But, you got to keep in mind when you eat the steak, you eat the asparagus, you eat the potato, all the things that now you're not carrying it anymore. Along with that block of ice and the water that was in that cooler bag. So I don't know. I'll get more into detail about that stuff as I haven't even gone camping once since I got back from prison. And I used to go camping almost every fucking weekend before that. And not even when I was homeless did I end up camping, even though I was fully prepared to do so, and would have been fairly okay with doing so. And so there were days at the homeless shelter I thought to myself it would be much more relaxing to just go camp somewhere. But I was playing the long game and just trying to take care of myself the best that I could, and that was overall it was the best option I had. So I'm going to hit stop. I'm going to eat my Burger King, put my food away, tidy up the place just a little bit. I got to get up tomorrow to go to the job and do the 40-mile bicycle commute again. And then I've got Friday. Tomorrow and Friday, they only gave me 2 days at the bakery this week. I do have a couple of leads for jobs that are closer, but still would require a bicycle ride. I applied to a job that I could walk to. They got back to me and said that store is full, but we have another opening in a store 15 miles away. So I could get myself a 15-mile commute instead of the 20-mile commute if I want to, but we'll see how it goes. But I'll finish off this video with a little more, talking to you after I get this stuff put away and have a chance to sit down and eat a little bit of grub. All right, so what's up? Got that done. Let's see. So, I was thinking about, back before the FBI drove a tank into my house, I used to cook a lot. Had a full kitchen, had a kitchen with everything you could possibly want to cook. I could cook anything. Not only did I have a kitchen that was, it wasn't like a great kitchen, like a wow, fabulous, rich people like marble countertops and all that bullshit, but it was a functional kitchen. There wasn't anything that I couldn't do. And I ate at home most of the time. Sometimes healthy, sometimes not. It was kind of a mix. One thing that we got into the habit of doing when we went grocery shopping, number one, don't go grocery shopping on an empty stomach. That's my biggest problem lately, is I didn't eat a single bite of food all day. I go to the grocery store, I get all this food and stuff, but it's all stuff that's going to need some sort of preparation, except for I don't want a snack. I want a meal. I want something hot, not just peanuts and, even peanut butter and jelly wasn't going to do the job tonight. So I stopped at Burger King. But one thing that you can do, especially if you have a car and you go to a real grocery store, this is something that my friend does when they go, my best friend that I was living with, when his family goes grocery shopping, they do this. I used to do this. It was a pretty common thing. Grab a rotisserie chicken while you're at the grocery store. They used to be, not that long ago, rotisserie chickens were like $5 at Wegmans and at Giant Eagle in Pittsburgh. Wegmans being the Western New York all the way to Erie grocery store. Giant Eagle covers Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, areas of Ohio. They actually do. Wegmans and Giant Eagle compete against each other up in Erie, Pennsylvania, but after you cross that line, it's either Wegmans country or Giant Eagle. But either way, Sam's Club, Walmart, all these places, they sell now rotisserie chickens in the fuck Joe Biden economy are like, I don't know, $10, $15. I don't even know anymore because I haven't bought one in so long. But they used to be $5. So when you go grocery shopping, grab one or two. We'd usually grab 2 rotisserie chickens, go to the prepared foods section, go, let's grab some mashed potatoes and, some corn, some steamed corn, like just whatever we can grab that is either already warm and ready to eat, or throw something in the microwave when you get home for a couple of sides. After you put away all the groceries and you want to just eat because you're hungry, boom, you got a whole freaking rotisserie chicken sitting in front of you and you can just ravage that thing. And 2 or 3 people eating on a rotisserie chicken, most of the time, you're not going to be able to eat that whole thing. You're going to get full. And eating a rotisserie chicken, a freshly cooked rotisserie chicken, you're straight up just eating chicken, maybe some mashed potatoes, maybe some corn, whatever, some side vegetables, some steamed broccoli, whatever. That's a good, healthy alternative than picking up a pizza, going to Burger King, going through a drive-through or whatever the fuck, because most of the time, when I go grocery shopping, especially if I've been doing stuff all day and then go grocery shopping, like let's say I worked at an office all day, picked up my son after work, then we go grocery shopping. We're not getting home till like 9 o'clock at night. So the last thing I want to do after all that, and after putting the groceries away, is cook a meal. And I'm going to be hungry. I'm not going to be satisfied with like something that's just not fresh. Another thing that we would do, we would go to, now this is, this was in Pittsburgh. There's a place called Pita Land, Mediterranean grocery store. They make their own pita bread there. I would make a special trip just to Pita Land with a cooler. I would bring a small cooler with ice in it, and I would fill that freaking cooler with all the different hummuses that they make. Roasted red pepper hummus. They had muhammara. They had hummus and baba ganoush and all these different dips. And I would buy a pile of pita bread with the intent of, when we get home, we're going to dig into this. We're going to devour pita bread and hummus until we're full. And then we're going to freeze some of the hummus, some of the baba ganoush and the hummus, and the muhammara especially. You could freeze that for a long time, and that would be fine. Hummus was kind of hit or miss, depending on the roasted red pepper hummus used to freeze just fine. The baba ganoush, sometimes you'd have to, when you thaw it out, you'd have to give it a good stir to get it back to the right texture. But the pita bread we would freeze. You could probably freeze it for about a month. Sometimes you can freeze bread for up to 3 months. It's just, you got to experiment. The fresher the bread, the fresher the stuff, and the less preservatives seems to give you less time in the freezer. You just have to experiment. That's all. Different breads, different things have different life in the freezer. But we would go and stock up on hummus and pita, and all the different things that you would need to make gyros. They'd sell lamb meat for the gyros in packs, and they were almost like strips of bacon. And so instead of having a big thing that spins on a gyro, a big tube of gyro meat that you put on a spindle and and cook the way that they normally get cooked, they would package gyro meat in slices, almost like bacon, and you could buy, and they were in the freezer section, and you could just buy tons of this stuff, and it would last a long time in the freezer. So the only thing I would need is some iceberg lettuce, or even you could even go with romaine. You could use better lettuce, but typically a gyro uses iceberg lettuce. But you could get a head of lettuce or whatever and shred your own lettuce on demand. If you want it to last a little longer, I'd go with romaine or a heartier lettuce, because iceberg lettuce you get like 3 days in the fridge and it's done. But we would need lettuce. This place, they had 6 different kinds of feta cheese at any different time, so we'd get enough feta cheese. We'd get cucumber sauce and all the different things that you would want to make gyros. So we could make gyros. We'd have hummus and pita. But on our trip home from the Greek grocer, we had enough hummus and pita fresh. The bags are still warm. You could put it up to your face, and it was like warm, because they have a pita. They imported some sort of pita machine from Lebanon at this place, and they basically produce all the pita bread for all of the different Greek restaurants in the whole city of Pittsburgh, pretty much. It's like you cannot get. I'm never. I don't. There's no place in Houston that's going to have pita bread like this. There's just not. Like there. It's one thing I'll miss about Pittsburgh while I'm here. Fresh pita bread. Like there's nothing I can buy in the store. There's no pita bread in Houston that I'm going to be able to find anywhere that's going to be even close to this stuff. This stuff is like straight out the oven. Fresh. It's still warm when you bring it home. So my son and I, we would just devour that. Hummus and pita until we were full. That was a good way to that was a good healthy way to fill up after coming back from a grocery store in a long day. Rotisserie chicken is another option. I'm trying to think of some others, but just looking for things like that you can bring home from the grocery store and just eat right out the gate. Cheese and crackers, meats, cheese and crackers. Like find some good cheese, some good salami or ham or whatever. It's endless what you can do there. Cheese, crackers, and meat. Make a tray when you get home from the grocery store. Just bang, 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 bang. Grab a pack of crackers, cut up some meat. Get meat that's already cut up, like salami, and maybe some salami, some pepperoni, some summer sausage, cut it up, whatever you can get, whatever you can find. Cheese and crackers will fill you up. It's not ridiculously unhealthy like a bag of Burger King. Okay, so Target doesn't have rotisserie chickens as far as I'm aware. There were a couple other things. I was looking for summer sausage for my prison chi-chis, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I found some alternative stuff, but I didn't find what I was looking for. You just gotta like kind of play around and see what you can do. But the rotisserie chicken was probably the best in terms of, because you get done devouring some rotisserie chicken till you can't eat another bite, and there's still going to be chicken on that bone. So what we would typically do is we'd get 2 rotisserie chickens. We'd eat as much as we could off of the first one, and then we would take whatever was left. We would take like 10-15 minutes and just rip all the chicken off the bone from both chickens and put it in some Tupperware containers and throw that in the fridge. And now we've got fresh chicken off the bone for the next several days. Make sandwiches, throw it in salads, do some stir fry. Grab some vegetables and some rice and make some chicken dishes, just some chicken, veggies, and rice and that kind of stuff. Couscous, cauliflower rice. Cauliflower rice is actually easy. You can keep that shit in the freezer with some vegetables. Get some frozen vegetable mixes, like some medleys, like Southwest medley or something like that, with some corn, peppers, onions, that kind of stuff. Just keep it, the stuff you get in the freezer section. And then you can just heat up a cast iron skillet, throw those veggies in. Cauliflower rice is basically just cauliflower chopped up into what it has the texture of rice, but you just throw it in the cast iron skillet. You don't got to cook it like it's rice, because rice will actually, the best way to cook rice is to use a rice cooker, hands down. But if you're looking to eat something fast and you got a skillet, cauliflower rice, vegetable medley, like a Southwest medley or something like that, that you get in the freezer section in a bag, and a bunch of rotisserie chicken. Just throw it in the cast iron skillet, heat it up till it's sizzling, until it's nice and warm. Dump that into a bowl, maybe mix a little hot sauce, whatever, spice it up a little bit. You got yourself a good dinner right there, and that's pretty healthy. I mean, that's better than Burger King, right? So, I really haven't had the opportunity to cook. I haven't really cooked diddly squat since I came back from prison. My ex's apartment that she set up for us, was lacking in the kitchen department. It was kind of like this tiny house, but it was a little bit bigger, and it wasn't much. It had a closed off bathroom, but it wasn't much different than what I'm rocking right now in this tiny house situation. It was kind of like, it was a little bit better than that, but not in some, but not really. Wasn't that great. We didn't, like I said, we didn't have a good kitchen. So cooking good meals, and the fact that I just came back from prison. I mean, prison chi-chis and ramen noodles and shit, basically cooking with boiled water and eating horrible fucking prison food for 20 months. And I didn't, we don't have, it just, cooking just wasn't a priority when I came back. Them being homeless for months. Once again, cooking not a big priority. But then I moved to Texas and I'm living with my best friend, and they've got like a gourmet kitchen. My best friend was a chef for years and years. Restaurant manager, chef, that dude can cook anything perfectly. And his wife is a good cook. So I guess I was a little bit spoiled for a little bit, because they would always cook really good meals and be like, "Hey, Adam, time to eat." Okay, awesome. I would help chip in for the groceries and whatnot, but they were always cooking stuff. And so I was eating good. But I also, I kept thinking to myself, you should get back into cooking while you're here. But my mind just, I have a lot of burnout, and I just have a lot of mental issues I'm trying to work through because of this whole trauma that I've been through. And I just wasn't in the mood for cooking. I'm just starting to come out of that shell now, because I kind of look at living in this tiny house as like a camping trip. It's almost like being on a camping trip, and now I'm starting to be like, okay, what can I do? I've got nothing. All I've got is a hot plate, a pot, and a cast iron skillet. How elaborate can I actually get with my meals, and how can I transition from eating all this processed garbage into some healthy shit? And so you just heard me thinking out loud. I don't know. Walmart might have rotisserie chicken. I don't really want to I don't want to go to Walmart again for grocery shopping. They definitely, the groceries there, where they have more than what Target has. Price wise, I don't think there was much difference. Some things are cheaper at one, some things are cheaper at the other. I don't think that a regular grocery trip, unless I'm going to get insane and start cutting coupons and keeping one of those coupon binders that the crazy coupon people keep, which I've done that in the past. So don't knock it. It's actually legit. I used to be able to buy $150 worth of groceries for $40 because I was so good at cutting coupons and knowing how to play that game. But it would also be a lot of time and a lot of trips to different grocery stores and shit to pull that off. So I'm not really in a position to do that with a freaking bicycle and going on a hiking trip to go grocery shopping and whatnot. So I gotta be like, I gotta work with what's in my capabilities right now. And so, like I said, I was looking for salads today. I wanted to bring home some salads so that I could make good salad. I don't even think I got a big enough bowl to. I'm looking at this bowl and it might be big enough to hold the salad, but when I'm trying to mix all the stuff together, I don't think the bowl's going to be big enough. It's fine that I got this bowl, but I need a bigger bowl. Period. There's just other things that, I'm just trying to think, okay, I got this new fridge. Now I can start to get a little bit healthier. I can do my lemon water now. I don't got to worry about my lemons getting frozen and then thawing and becoming all mush. And then, I don't have to worry about, I can have carrots now without. My carrots were going bad in the other fridge. I couldn't keep them. They were either too warm or frozen. And once they freeze, they're not right. The texture just, it was gross. They were gross. Um, and so now I've got some onions, carrots, different things. So I'm trying to think, okay, I've got another week between grocery trips, and this week I'm gonna eat some pasta. I've got some prison chi-chis. I'm gonna do peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I've got sausages. I can do some of those wraps. Those wraps are actually pretty healthy. It's basically ham and two different kinds of cheese, arugula, some cream cheese, and some dried cranberries all wrapped up together. It's freaking delicious. Oh, also a little bit of bacon. They're pre-cooked, ready bacon. Um, I have a cast iron skillet with a bacon press. If I get bacon strips, I'd have to cut the bacon strips in half and do half strips, because they'd be too long for the cast iron pan. It's like a number 9 cast iron pan, but I've got a bacon press that fits that pan precisely. So I can do up a whole package of bacon in one shot with this bacon press, and then take all the bacon that I don't eat that night, for whatever I'm cooking the bacon for. I can take all the rest of that bacon, put it in the fridge in a container, and then just pick at that throughout the week when I'm making sandwiches. I want to make some grilled cheese sandwiches. Boom, I got grilled cheese and bacon sandwiches now. And so I can do different things. I've definitely got the makings here to have a little variety and start cooking a little bit. I've got two cast iron pans. One of them needs to be stripped down a little bit with some steel wool and re-seasoned and put in an oven at 450 degrees to recarbonize some, probably, I don't know, bacon grease is the best. So if I cook bacon in the one cast iron pan, I can save the bacon grease and use that bacon grease to re-season the one that needs to be redone. But I'm gonna have to go in this house here. There's a house next door to the tiny house, and I'm allowed to go in and use that kitchen. But what I need to make sure I don't do is piss everybody off, because I'm re-seasoning a cast iron pan at 450 degrees, and there's a whole bunch of smoke blowing into the kitchen. So I got to make sure everybody knows what I'm about to do. Put the pan in the oven, set it to 450. Just be like, look, it's going to get a little smoky in here. We might want to put a fan out and put a fan in the window, or blow the smoke out the back door, or whatever. But don't worry, this is normal. This is what it's supposed to do. But then I'll have a nice, perfectly seasoned cast iron pan that I've had for over 20 something years. It's perfectly smooth. It's like glass, because I've been using this thing for so many years. Then I'll have two cast iron pans that I can use. I'm only going to have room to use one on, but maybe if I want to go in the house and cook up something good, and maybe like cook up some food for everybody that's here, just to make friends with everybody and stuff, make something good, like do spaghetti night or something like that, I can bring both pans into the mix and do some cool stuff. Um, but right now I'm just trying to figure out, okay, what can I do? I'm getting an air fryer supposedly. That might sit right on top of the fridge and be, take up the space that a microwave would have taken up. And I don't really want a microwave, to tell you the truth. It's not that useful to me. I hardly ever use the microwave at home. When I had a big microwave, I hardly ever used it. I used the toaster. I had a Breville toaster oven, like a convection oven, a beautiful. They're like $280, but it's the best freaking toaster oven I've ever used in my life. They're freaking awesome. I had all the accessories that went with it. Like, I used that. I used that Breville oven more than a regular oven. I used that Breville oven all the time. All the time. My son used it. He used to cook all kinds of stuff in it, because it's easy. It's actually kind of kid friendly, because it's very easy to. It's got like a screen with all kinds of options and stuff. You want to cook something, it pretty much tells you what to do. But it's such a freaking awesome oven. You can put a full size pizza in it. I would love to have another one of those. But I don't even want a toaster oven if it's not a Breville top of the line toaster oven. You get a taste of the best, and you don't want to go ghetto after that. I've used a couple of shitty toaster ovens in the last year or so, and they sucked balls and they didn't light a candle compared to the Breville. And so I don't even want to waste my money on a cheap one. I'll just wait until I can afford the good one. And if I can't afford it while I'm living in this tiny house, then fine. But I would rather have that, a slow cooker, my burners with the cast iron pans and being able to boil pots of water. And I mean, that pretty much covers it. There's almost no reason to have a microwave, honestly. Like, sometimes I would cook vegetables in the microwave in a bowl of water, dump some corn from the freezer or whatever, some vegetables, nuke them up. Normally, I'd rather steam them in a steamer. Um, I don't know, but I'm getting to the point now where I'm like, okay, I'm going to be eating junk for a while, but I got to start mixing in the healthy foods and start coming up with healthy options and healthy meals because I'm kind of craving it right now. That's one thing. When I came home from prison, all I wanted to eat was salad. I wanted to go to the grocery store and just get salads and lettuce and veggies and fruit and like all this stuff that my body had not experienced for over 2 fucking years. Now that's all I wanted. But I was eating a little bit of I was eating a little bit of junk, but I was eating a balance of healthy and junk when I came out of prison. When I ended up homeless, I was eating pretty much junk. It was pretty much junk food. Then when I came to Texas, I went back on the health kick. I went to the grocery store. All I wanted to buy was like salads and cheeses and healthy meats and I was eating pretty healthy at my friend's house, relatively speaking. I mean, here and there I was eating some junk, and I work at a bakery where I'm eating 1,000 calorie cookies and things like that. I'm gonna be eating. I guarantee you tomorrow I'm not gonna get through the shift tomorrow without at least eating a turtle cheesecake and possibly eating a brownie too. I don't know. We'll see. There's always, if we screw something up, we just put it in the back and we eat it. we take turns. So during the course of the week, whatever we're serving out of that bakery, I'm gonna at least sample every single thing that we have at least once. Um, but if I sit down to take a break tomorrow, it's gonna be turtle cheesecake time. I'm gonna eat a freaking 1,000 calorie turtle cheesecake, and then I'm gonna end up burning it on my bike ride home. But so I'm not buying chocolate. I'm not buying candy. I'm not buying the most garbage food that I have in the house in terms of like candy and chocolate and sugary stuff are the trail mixes that have the chocolate chips and the peanut butter stuff, the junk foody trail mixes that I got today. But I also have healthy trail mixes that are like peanuts and raisins and cranberries and different berries and more like peanuts and dried fruit and good old raisin and peanut. They call it gorp. Good old raisins and peanuts. Peanuts, raisins, dried fruit. Maybe a little bit of dark chocolate. I don't know what's in this one bag, but there's a healthy one in there. And then I've got some granola. I've got there's a bag of granola in there, and there's a few bags of just peanuts, or like honey roasted peanuts, or I've got some pistachios, like some they're like cracked pepper or some sort of pistachios that have a little bit of pepper and flavor to them. They're not just plain. And then I've got plain nuts, because nuts are pretty filling. They give you some protein, and if you're hungry and you got like you need like a midnight snack, a bowl of peanuts is going to be better for you than a bowl of ice cream. So But it's a balance. I'm going to eat some junk. I'm going to eat some Burger King. I don't like spending the money on that. I don't like, because it's like you can do better, is all I'm getting at. And so, I got to strike a balance between, I'm riding my bicycle. I'm either walking or taking a bicycle to get what I need to get. And anyway, that's the food situation right now. Somebody, I can't believe how many comments. It must be because I got my hair cut and I was talking about it. And I did go to Supercuts the other day, and it's cheaper than the other. I've gone to 3 different places to get my hair cut since I've been in Texas. They were all expensive. One of them did a good job, but it was expensive, and it was in an area where the road was under heavy construction, and the bicycle ride to get there was an absolute disaster. So I never went back to that place, mainly because of the bicycle situation. It just wasn't a easy way. Now the construction's done, but now going to get my hair cut there would be out of the way. So it's not in the cards anymore, and it's just it's expensive. But they did a really good job. The other place that I went was like, they give you beer. But the haircut that I got, I have simple hair. It's not that hard to cut. Fade on the sides and scissors on the top, and cut it down to, sometimes I go a little bit longer on top, sometimes I go short. But I tend to get my hair cut on 6-week intervals. If I go longer than 6 weeks, I'm like going crazy. But anytime before 6 weeks is up, I'm usually like 4 or 5 weeks in, I'm starting to be like, okay, I could go get my hair cut soon. Anything after 6 weeks, it starts to get ridiculous. So, but I tend to go 6 weeks between haircuts. Sometimes 8 weeks. If I go 8 weeks, which I'm sure it was, I don't know how long I went. All I know is that when I went and got my hair cut last week, I could not go one more day without doing it. Like, I was not going to go to sleep that night without having my hair having been cut. And Supercuts was right. I had to go to Target and take a chair back, get my money back. And Supercuts was like 2 doors down. So I'm like, Supercuts it is. She did a good job. It was like $27 after I gave her a tip. So that was cheaper than any of the other places I've been. I'll probably go back there. But all these people are dropping comments now about how I need to get myself a pair of clippers and cut my own hair. And it's like, no, I'm not. Like, number one, that's time out of my day. Honestly, no, it's less time to do it myself than it is, but it's not that much time for me to walk over there, get my hair cut, and come back. That's less than an hour out of my day. And I can do other things while I'm over there. I can run errands. I don't have to, I can go over to where Target is and Supercuts and all that. There's other things over there I can get done, and then I can come home and I'll have a professional, somebody, with a pair of scissors cut my hair right. And I have a pair of clippers. I'm looking at them right now. Sometimes I let my face grow so long between shaves that the best way to shave is to use the clippers first, buzz it all off, and then use a razor blade. And I don't like shaving every day. My neck breaks out. My skin does not like being shaved on a daily basis. I can usually go about 4 or 5 days, and then I go absolutely crazy because my hair, I'm about a day away. I'm probably just going to go into the bakery like this tomorrow. I don't see myself shaving today. I'll probably shave more often when they fix the shower here. And that's supposed to happen, honestly, that's supposed to happen within the next week or so. I got the new fridge, air fryer's coming. Supposedly, I think it's been ordered already. I'm not keeping up with everything. Supposedly they're supposed to come and do the hot water thing over the next week or so. So I'll have good hot water to take showers here and be able to shave properly, and so you'll probably see me better looking than I have been on any of these videos once I have a fully functioning, like, I get in the shower right now and I'm in there, I'm doing the George Carlin shower, the 4 essential areas, scrub, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm out. I don't want to stay in the shower for a long time because it's not hot. And so, but once I have a good, like, hot shower, now I can go into the main house and use the shower in there. But once again, I don't want to. Not because I'm antisocial, but because I went 2.5 fucking years without having any privacy and without having my own space. And now I'm just like, I'm shutting the fucking door at the end of the day and I'm like, leave me the fuck alone, because it's 2.5 years and I'm only 1 month into having my own place now. I need to just be able to shut that door and be shut off from the world and do whatever the fuck I want and not have to worry about tiptoeing around somebody's place that's not mine. And it feels good to have that finally. And so that's why I don't want to go tiptoeing around the house, taking a shower in there. And like, it has nothing to do with anything other than I went 2.5 years without having a fucking camera looking at me all day. Like all day and night having a camera pointed at you. No privacy. Just, it feels good. It feels good to have your own place. And so I guess I'm stubborn, but when it comes to like the haircut, I've got clippers. I've done my own hair before. It's not that hard, but it's not that easy. The only attachment that I can get a good result with is a number 1. So I'm either going to completely shave my head bald, or I'm going to do the number 1 attachment, which will be about as short as you see where my finger is right there. But I can't do anything other than make the whole head one length. So I'm just going to have like, it's going to look dumb. It's not going to look as good as what I'm getting even going to supercuts, because I have a little bit of a fade going on. Now, if I was, a little more, if I would make myself look more presentable before leaving the house or getting on the video or going wherever I go, but right now I don't care right now. I can't stress how many fucks I don't give about much right now. If I had to go on a job interview, damn right I'm going to look as good as I can, but I can't do as good of a job with a pair of clippers on my own, cutting my own hair, as somebody who cuts hair will do. I can put the number 1 attachment on a pair of clippers and just go buzz, 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 all the way around my head, and then I can use 2 mirrors to do the back, and I can get the line perfectly. I can do the back of my head perfect. I can use a straight razor or, a razor, or, like a razor. I'm not using, Sweeney Todd straight razor, but like, a razor blade. I can use a razor to get it perfect, or I can use the clippers. And using 2 mirrors, I've done that so many times in my life, I can do it without having to think about it. I can get it perfect. But I can't, the only thing I can do is give myself a standard buzz cut with the pair of clippers if I'm doing it myself. It's not going to be any better than that. Whatever you can do with a number 1. So all the hair is going to be the same length. So there's not going to be any variation of the length from the top to the sides and down. But it's not going to look horrible. But back in 2020, I refused to wear one of these stupid masks on my face. I will never fucking do it, ever. And when that whole 2020 bullshit was going on and they were telling everybody to wear masks, I was getting kicked out. I lived out in the country, so it was kind of hit or miss. I stayed away from the cities. So out in the country, it's kind of hit or miss. Most places didn't give a fuck. Most people in the country weren't wearing them.
if you looked on a map of the election, any of the counties that turned red, you don't wear a mask. Any of the places that are blue, I had a saying back then. I'm like, um, how did it go? Huh? I can't remember. I don't remember. It was a funny rhyme. It worked, but I don't remember. Um, if your county is red, all I know is if your county is blue, just drive on through. Don't even stop. That's how the rhyme went. I don't remember the red part. But if you're in a red county, you're okay. You're good to go. But if you're in a blue, drive on through. Don't stop. Just stay out. Um, but I had a hard time finding a place where I could go get my hair cut without having to put the stupid mask on my face. And I was like, no, I'm not fucking doing it. So I ended up cutting my own hair for, I don't know, probably 6 months. Um, but it didn't look as good. I mean, it just was like a basic buzz cut. And it was okay. Um, it was presentable and everything. And it wasn't like I was out, going to the clubs and shit. It wasn't like I was going to the office. It wasn't like I had to look good during that period of time. But I got access to getting good haircuts. Let's just leave it at that. And I wasn't cutting my own hair anymore. And so, no, I mean, yeah, you can cut your own hair. I have a clipper. I have more than one pair of clippers. Or I have more than one set of clippers. And they do a fine, like they work. But I don't mind paying $30 every 6 weeks to get my hair cut. I mean, I'm going to save more money by switching over to making my own cold brew coffee and stop buying the pre-bottled coffee. That's my goal for that's a bigger goal of mine right now, because the coffee is what constantly drives me to have to go to the grocery store. But now I'm at the point where I'm going once a week to the grocery store, which is much more manageable than like every 2 or 3 days. But I want to get to the point where I can buy coffee in bulk on Amazon, 25 pounds of coffee, and just store it somewhere and not have to go get coffee anymore. And the cost per gallon is going to go way down, way down. And then when I'm making my own coffee creamers, they're going to be healthier and they're going to cost less than those pre-bottled flavored creamers. So that right there is going to save me more money than cutting my own hair. Like, y'all got to pick and choose. That's all I'm saying. Like, you got to pick and choose. If you're, I'm saving a hell of a lot of money because I don't have a car payment. I don't have car insurance. I don't have car repairs, and I don't have to pay for gasoline. I don't have to buy a gym membership to get in shape. All I got to do is go to work. 21 miles to my job, busting my ass on my feet for 8 hours, and then riding 21 miles to get home. Don't need to pay for LA Fitness. The only reason I even want a membership at LA Fitness is because it's a 5-minute walk, and they have a hot tub, a sauna, and a steam room there. I don't want to go there to work out. I don't want to use any of the machines. I don't want to lift the weights, ride the bicycle that goes nowhere, climb the stairs that don't go anywhere. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to row in a fake rowing boat that doesn't even get in the water. I don't want to lift weights. I don't want to do any of that shit. I wouldn't mind going to yoga class for, more than one reason. Lots of reasons to go to yoga class. But between yoga class, that's about all I would want to go there for. And I want to go to the hot tub, the steam room, and the sauna. That's what I want to go there for. But I don't want to pay for a membership. That to me right now seems frivolous. If I got a good paying job, like a professional job that like real money was coming in, then okay, maybe I would do that just to treat myself and give myself something nice. But I'm trying to save up for a car and do some other things. Even though I've had to drop some money on the bicycle this week, I had to get 2 tires to have spares. Because if I'm riding my bike as much as I am right now, I'm gonna creep up on 2,000 miles in no time, and the chances of like catastrophic tire damage where I need a new tire are pretty high once I'm putting in all these miles. And I needed new brake pads because I'm gonna start going through brake pads like crazy. That was $100, but okay, if I spend $200 a month keeping my bicycles going, tools that I buy once and never have to buy again, tires and brake pads and the wear and tear parts, couple of upgrades here and there, just bicycle stuff. If my bicycle budget's 250 a month, that's not even close to what it would cost to own a car right now. If I get a car, I'm going to have a car payment of anywhere between $200 and $400 a month, depending on what car I find, what kind of deal I can find. If I could save up like $5,000-$6,000, I could get an old XJ Cherokee or something cool like that. Those things are tanks; they don't die, as long as there's no rust. And down here in Texas, that would be ideal. That might be a vehicle, but in order to get a vehicle that's going to not be a jalopy that ends up going to the fucking shop every month, it's going to cost me like $5,000. Or I can get a car from a dealer with a car payment on the used market to where I'm putting down, maybe I make a $400 down payment, and then I can get my insurance and everything else squared away. And my car insurance is probably going to be ridiculous because I haven't had a car in so long. They like to if you don't have car insurance for a couple of years, they like to treat you like you're 16 years old driving a fucking Mustang GT, and they want to price it accordingly. So I'll probably end up getting gouged for insurance. It would be easier to just go and get a used car with a car payment than to try and save up $5,000-$6,000 right now to buy a used car that's going to be reliable, and then have to put that down in one chunk. And then if I buy a used car in one chunk like that from a private seller, then I got to go to the DMV. I've got to go pay the sales tax at the DMV. I've got to get all the registration and all the bullshit paperwork done myself. And my experience with the Texas DMV, that's going to be a fucking nightmare. Or I can just go to a car dealership that sells used cars, take out a loan, put down less than $1,000. They do all the paperwork. They do all the stuff. They hand me the keys and say, have a good day. And I make a monthly payment. Like, that actually seems more appealing to me right now than the other way around. Convenience-wise and headache-wise. But it boils down to the car, I find, and it just, there's two different ways to go here. And I'm not opposed to going either way. It's just that one seems like the path that's going to get me the car quicker. But you get a car payment, anywhere from $200 to $400 a month, somewhere in that range is what it's going to be. Car insurance is probably going to be about $150 a month. That's my guess. Might be more. I don't know. I'm going to get gouged. I'm going to get treated like fucking shit when I call these car insurance companies trying to get quotes and rates. I could get the safest, cheapest car in the world, and they're going to be like, well, that's going to be $5,000 a year for car insurance. They're going to gouge the hell out of me right now. Maybe 6 months in, I can switch and find a cheaper rate. But when I first get this car, the insurance might cost more than the fucking car payment. So they got the car insurance and the car. It's going to need to go to the shop. Like, there's no fucking way I'm going to have a car in the first 6 months. It's going to have to go into the shop. Something's going to happen. And then what? I take the car to the shop. How do I get home from the shop? I don't have access like, what am I going to call? Uber? So no, I'm going to have my bicycle. My bicycle's what's going to get me home from the auto garage. And then I'm going to go, how am I going to get to work when the car is in the shop for 2 weeks because it's waiting for some part or whatever the fuck? I'm going to be riding my bike again. So car's going to go to the shop. You got to plan on, I don't know, a couple $100 a month in car repairs, even if it's spread out over the course of a year. At some point something's going to happen. Oh, that's $300. Oh, that's $500. Oh no, that one's going to be $1,000. Car inspections coming up. I know they've done away with inspections in Texas, but you're still going to need brakes. You're still going to need, car repairs. If I averaged, even my Mini Cooper was probably the most expensive car to maintain because it was almost 20. It was 20 years old when I got rid of it. If I, between $100 and $200 a month probably is what it would average out to over the course of a year for repairs and maintenance. So, I mean, and then gasoline. Okay, even if I get a cheap economy car that can go 100 miles for $5 in gas, I don't know if I have to fill the tank once a week. 20, let's say it's $30, 369 as 120. Let's say $150 a month in gas, $150 a month in insurance, $200 to $400 car payment. So let's just average that out to 300, and then 150. Let's say $600 for gas, insurance, and car payment right there, and then repairs you got to throw in another. So you're looking at like $700 to $1,000 a month to own a car. So even if I'm spending $200-300 a month on a bicycle, I bought a bicycle for $300 that's almost brand spanking new. I haven't even tuned it up and ridden it yet. It's just sitting there waiting for me. The Silver Bullet. They tell you the Silver Bullet won't slow you down. Well, I hope that's the case, but I haven't even had time to. I spent 5 hours on bike repairs today, and I didn't finish. I didn't even pull the Silver Bullet up on the stand to do what it needed. I got through about 75% of the work that I wanted to get done today, but I ran out of time. The sun was going to go down. I had to go do my grocery shopping. Other people needed the space that I was using up because there's a couple of grills there. And so I was out on this back patio where we have this TV and stuff, and I was hanging out. We were watching the NASCAR race in Austin today at the Circuit of the Americas. It was kind of fun because, when you watch these NASCAR drivers have to make right-hand turns along with left-hand turns, it's kind of fun because those cars don't stick to the road. That's like a Formula One racetrack that they're driving NASCARs on, which is funny as hell to watch. But anyway, I was hanging out, getting the bicycle work done, and I got through all the stuff that had to be done. I just didn't get all the stuff I wanted to do done. So I'm going to have to do it again next weekend, probably Saturday, because I'm not going to work at the bakery, so that gives me a whole day there to maybe do it again, set the portable bike shop up, take the other bicycle and get that thing dialed in. Then I've got 2 solid bikes that I can just switch back and forth and ride whichever one I feel like riding. But I could buy 2 more bicycles and have to maintain all 4 of them. I could buy an electric bicycle if I played my cards right, but to me, that crosses the line of too much maintenance and too much bullshit and too much expensive stuff that could go wrong. I could have 4 regular bicycles. I could bring my mountain bike down from Pittsburgh if I could somehow get it down here. I've got like a $2,000 specialized mountain bike with hydraulic disc brakes and top of the line shit. It's just sitting up there in Pittsburgh in storage. I couldn't fit both of my bicycles when I moved down here, so I took the Red Rocket because that was the bike that was going to be the better option for commuting and getting around town. For riding on roads and stuff, that's the bicycle I trust. And but I could get 2 more fucking bicycles And the monthly maintenance and the monthly expenses related to these bicycles is still going to be less than a basic cheap car. If I played my cards right, maybe an old used Toyota for a couple $1,000 might pop up. I don't know. But you need new tires for a basic car. It's going to cost more for new tires than a brand new bicycle. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, I want a car. I feel like I need to get one. It's going to open up a lot of opportunity and it's going to open up a lot of, it's like leveling up in a video game. You gotta, when you start out in Grand Theft Auto, you don't have a car. You're living in the tiny house with, an unfinished ceiling, and you've got roaches. You can see all the roaches climbing around your walls and stuff, and the paint's peeling off the walls, and the toilet has a log floating in it that you can't get to go down the hole. And you're basically, you start out in a total dump. But after you steal enough cars, after you beat up enough hookers and take their money, rob a few banks, and do all that kind of stuff, before you know it, you're in a high-rise penthouse overlooking the city, and you've got a garage full of Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and you've got a mansion out in the countryside, and you got a membership at the golf club, and you can go there and play golf whenever you want. And and when you go to the strip club, the strippers come home with you, and you're allowed to touch the strippers, and they don't call the bouncer over on you. But when you're just starting out in Grand Theft Auto, you can go to the strip club, but you can't touch them or nothing like that, and you got to pay them to get the lap dance. But when after you rob enough banks, it's like the strippers are paying you to come home with you. And so you just got to work your way up. You got to level up. You got to just keep playing the game until you find a new way to level up. And so, yeah, I've got the tiny house. I've got the tiny fridge. I just leveled up on the fridge department. I got a bigger fridge. It's still a tiny fridge, but man, this is the best fridge. This is the most refrigerator space I've had for myself since I got out of prison. This little fridge that I've got now, this thing's great. I'm loving it. At some point, I'm going to have a house or an apartment where I can go take a dump without seeing my bed and my desk where I work and my fridge and my sink where I make food and cook. So, but I probably have to rob a few banks and beat up a few hookers and all the different things that you got to do when you're playing Grand Theft Auto in order to get to that next level. And so, I don't know. We're just going to see how it goes. I've got a job lead to look into. I've got some other weird job search stories to share with the next video, but I'm out of time now. It's going to be another pretty long video. Maybe I'll get to the point where instead of sitting in a chair rambling for an hour about a bunch of different things, I'll get to the point where I can start kind of putting more interesting videos together, and kind of like, maybe I'll show you how to make a prison chi-chi this week. It shouldn't be super difficult to shoot a video of that. Maybe I'll get to the point where I can show you how to do some bicycle repairs and that kind of stuff. But today, I'm like, if I pull out a video camera and start doing video along with the work that I'm doing, I wouldn't have got... It took me 5 hours to get done the stuff that I got done. And if I was trying to film it all, I would have got half as much done in the same amount of time. So I just needed to get stuff done. I couldn't sit there with a camera and be like, here's how you do this. Here's what I'm doing here. And here's how I did this. And here's how this works and that and the other thing. But it might be a good idea to maybe start figuring out how to film some of this stuff. And as I kind of figure out ways to make this tiny house work better, and maybe I could come up with ideas for things that help the tiny house community, people who want to live, these people on HGTV who, are looking around, they're walking around with their wife and they're like, oh, this tiny house is great. It's 75 square feet and it's only $192,000. That's a deal. Maybe those people can use some handy tips for how to survive in their $192,000 100 square foot tiny home. I don't know, but figure it out as we go. My goal, the biggest goal that I have while I'm living in this little place, is that every day when I go to bed, I need to make this place better somehow. Even if it's not clean every day. Like right now, I got shit all over the place. I straightened up a little bit before I sat down in the chair here, but I got a long way to go. I literally have to wait until Tuesday morning, when I have my 3 day stretch to work from home. And the first thing I'm going to do Tuesday morning is clean. Like clean. And so, but by the time I go to bed Tuesday night, it will be the nicest that the tiny house has ever been, because I'll get more projects done. I'll get things more organized and more tidy, and it'll be better than it's ever been. And so if I only live here for 6 months, at the end of the 6 months, it's going to be a dope, really cool tiny house. If I end up getting a car and the car ends up tapping me out financially to where I can't afford to move, then I'll stay for another 6 months and see what I can save up, and then see if I can afford to move by then. Just one day at a time. That's all I can do. Anyway, I'm going to let you all go. Hope you have a good one. Peace out.